My family tree begins in Ireland, with my grandparents on my mother's side, who were all of Irish heritage. They immigrated to the United States in hope of finding a better life and a better education for their children. My great-grandparents took their first steps into America on Ellis Island in the year of 1934. My grandpa was born into the Great Depression in the year 1937. The Great Depression made it extremely difficult for my great-grandparents to build lives for themselves. As his family found jobs and began earning money, my grandpa was able to go to school and grow up in booming New York City. However, his life was greatly affected when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor in 1941 and his father was forced to fight in World War II. In 1945, America defeated Japan when they dropped the two nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This allowed young Bernie's life to return to normal. In 1962, Bernie O'Prey married the love of his life, Evelyn O'Dwyer. They made a family with their 3 daughters, including my mom. During this time, the civil rights movement was booming all over the country. However, my grandparents had little involvement in this movement. Bernie joined the United States Air Force in 1960. He became a lieutenant and piloted supply helicopters. In the year 1965, my grandpa is shipped off to Vietnam and fights as a helicopter pilot. My grandpa was no Forrest Gump, but he was a helicopter pilot and flew in supplies to help out our troops when they were in need. My mom grew up as an Air Force rat, moving every 3 years. She attended UCLA and graduated in 1988. She then went on to graduate law school in 1991. She is currently a lawyer in charge of her own firm. The Cold War, including the threat for a nuclear holocaust, greatly affected my mom's lives and the lives of many others. My mom now works in beautiful downtown Los Angeles, where she is the boss of her own law firm. My dad, Steve, grew up on his family's dairy farm in desolate Waddell, Arizona, just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. My dad then went on to attend Arizona State University and graduated in 1986 with a major in engineering. In the 1980s, my dad was a member of the mod fad. Thank God I didn't have to see him then. On the bright side, I'm happy to know that my dad never became a hippie like the guy in this picture. My dad is currently an aerospace engineer at Northrop Grumman, one of the top aerospace industries in the country. My mom and dad then decided to settle down in beautiful Manhattan Beach, California. They lived through the 9/11 terrorist attacks and to this day are haunted by the horrific images of the terror attacks. My parents started a family in 1996 and the world got just a little darker when my sister Megan was born. 2 years later, the brilliant man you know as Jack Truman was born. This legend now lives to tell you the story of how his life was made possible.